He shall feed his flock like a shepherd.
Wow.
He shall gather the lambs with his arm and carry them in his bosom, and shall gently lead those that are with young.
Can you imagine that picture where you have, hey, how you doing? Come on. Where you have a shepherd who just not only feed his but gather them and the lamb with his arm and carry them in his arm and carry them in his bosom. That's something. But also, I found it interesting over the next chapter, Ezekiel 34. How you doing, right? Ezekiel chapter 34. And that's after Lamentation.
34?
Yeah, 34. Ezekiel 34. Ezekiel 34. And I'm sort of close out this with this caption. 34 and 16. Who want to read that? 34, 16.
I seek that which was lost, bring again that which was driven away. And I will bend up that which was broken, and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment.
Interesting. This whole concept around a shepherd who feeds. And then finally, Matthew 18, 11, 12. Now, I guess y'all figure out now, I love to survey the scriptures. Y'all figure that out by now, right? You figure that out by now.
18 what?
18, 11, and 12. Who want to read the 18, 11, and 12?
For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. How think ye, if a man have 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, doth he not leave the 99 and goeth into the mountains and seeketh that which is gone astray?
What is the challenge you get from that? That's an interesting one. That's an interesting challenge from that. What is the challenge from that? It reads, New King James, what do you think? If a man has 100 sheep, and just one of them go astray, does he not leave the 99 and go to the mountains to seek the one that is straying? It's interesting then that you would leave the 99 and go after just one. Powerful verse. So then, within that, into my obligation for my research that I promise I'll bring back to you, went over. So let's go back to Ephesians chapter 4. Okay, what was the takeaway for anyone from last week? Last time we met, the week before last when we met. What was your takeaway? Do you remember back that far? Talk to me somebody. I got all night.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. In particular, the apostle.
And particularly the apostle. What struck you about the apostle?
That I've wondered how someone in this day and time call themselves an apostle, and you gave us the narrow definition of the Bible. You gave us both, but you gave us one about the Bible, about how they were called and commissioned by Jesus. They exercised gifts. They had been with him, actually walked with him, except for Paul.
Yeah, that's good.
They witnessed the resurrection. They were like they were there. And so therefore they got the title apostle.
That's right.
They went into the others too, but that one, the one that stuck out.
So not only did they saw the resurrection, they also saw the ascension, which is good. Anything else? Anybody else remember takeaways? I like to do brains and takeaways before we go into this next part.
Still Ephesians 4.
Ephesians 4, yes. Ephesians 4, and we should get out of it tonight. What did we stop? Anybody remember? 12, that's right. No, 11, really. 11. And he gave some to the apostles and prophets and evangelists, some pastors and teachers. And we went through all of those, what we call those. What do we call those? Let me tell you. What do we call those? Those are what?
Fivefold.
Yeah, they are spiritual gifts that people are born with, right? No, right.
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Talk to me. Yeah. Where do they come from? They come from God, right? They are Christ-centered gifts that God has given to those He has placed in His ministry is in these categories. And remember, you can go to 1 Corinthians, what chapter that speaks to spiritual gifts? What chapter in 1 Corinthians that speaks to spiritual gifts?
4.
Anybody can talk to
14, 3 through 4.
14, 3 through 4.
First
Somebody talk to me.
Is that right? 1 Corinthians 14, verses 3 through 4. Is that right? No. Must not be right now. You're not saying anything.
Talk to me. Talk to me. What is it? 1 Corinthians 12. Remember that?
Wow.
Remember that? Yeah? Remember that? Remember that? Now, brother, not concerning the spiritual gift, brother, I do not want you to be ignorant. That's the first thing you say. I don't want y'all to be ignorant.
Not no.
Not know. That's right. And you say, therefore, I'm going to outline those things to you. So if I would mark anything as related to spiritual gifts, I would deal with 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and tie into that. And then if anyone want to talk to you about prophecy, then we'll go to 1 Corinthians
14
and 14. So prophecy and tongues Paul covers in 1 Corinthians chapter 14. So think 12 and 14, okay, ties into Ephesians 4 if you want to build upon that as relates to spiritual gifts. Now, so then we have these gifts. So what does he say next is purpose of those gifts?
to edify.
Yep.
Okay? It's more than just edifying.
Perfect.
Okay?
Exhort.
For the equipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the equipping of the saints. Who are the saints? Us. Okay. The angels, right? Equipping of the saints for the work of ministry. See, there's two things that happen, right? For the equipping of the saints, for the work of the ministry. Actually, three things. For the equipping of the saints, to do what? First, he gave them gifts to do what? To equip means to do what?
Prepare.
Prepare. Right? Okay? And there's another word, perfected, which means also equip for service and ministry. So it's equipping of saints. Now, what does, and watch this one now, this question here. What is the function of an equiper? One who equips. What is that function? What do they do?
Teach, prepare you.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. And where do you find the equiper in this 4th chapter? Where do you find it? Thank you. See that? See, you think so deep. You think so deep. So, and you just make the correlation, and he gave them apostle, some prophet, some evangelist, some pastor, for what? The equipping. I call it the equipper. A person who makes disciples and prepare others to serve Christ. So think about it is to make disciples, all right? And disciples do what? What disciples do?
Teach. Spread the word.
Spread the word. What else do they do? Oh, they minister, right? They minister. So there's in there a part of discipleship, not only when we follow Christ, but in following Christ, you emulate him in the form of his commission, that is to teach and to make other disciples, to grow, but also to serve others. Because as you serve others, you serve who? You serve Christ, right? And whether we find a reference to that in Matthew. Is there any reference to that in Matthew?
Matthew 10.
Okay, Matthew 10. Give me another. No, I mean, there's no wrong answer. Okay? Matthew 10 was a commission of sending out, all right? But when he talks about serving, and you remember, he talks about if you, boom, 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 yes, right? Where's that? Where does it all come together? Where? Talk to me. I got all night. See, you're thinking too deep. It's read on. It's read in. It's read before.
You said if you.
What now?
Is it the one about take up your cross?
Yeah, but we were saying.
Follow him?
What was the question? Let me see. Let me see.
What was the question?
See. What was the question?
About being servants.
About being servants. And I was saying that as you do this, you serving who? And you say you're serving also Christ, right?
Right.
And my question was whether this tie in to where Christ say, as you do it to them, you also do it to me. All right? All right? So we deal with some tie in. All right? I give you a minute to think about that, but it's going to say, oh gosh, what? I knew that. Matthew 25. I'll take the mystery out right there. Okay? I believe in tie-ins. Okay? Look at 42. For I was hungry and you gave me no food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. 43 says, Matthew, chapter 25. Matthew
You said
chapter
43?
42.
Chapter 25, verse 42.
42.
I began at 42. Okay. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Verse 43, I was a stranger and you did not take me in, naked and you did not clothe me, sick and in prison you did not visit me. Wow. That's a myriad of needs. Isn't that right? I mean, you see those, right? Watch this. Then they also will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not minister to you? Did not what? Serve you. All right? Then he will answer and them say, surely I say unto you, inasmuch as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not what? Do it to me. All right? Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Now, you back up and go in 31, it takes you through that whole verse. I just fast forward. So if you go to verse 31, it brings you through it all the way. So if you want to tie it in to say, well, where is that relationship between you serving others that you also serve Christ? Because when I was what? Hungry? When I was sick? When I was without clothes? When I was naked? Okay? When I was in prison? You what? You did this thing to me. To the extent you didn't do it to me, what? You avoided. But to the extent you did it, you've done it to the least of these, my brothers and sisters. So every time you serve someone in those areas of in the form of ministry, you also serve in Christ. So this is part of the equipping, and the equipping helps you to understand that it really, literally all ties into serving what? Christ. Are you with me?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. Okay.
Which ties into love thy neighbor as thyself.
It showed up. It showed up. It showed up. Oh, you own it. You own it. You own it. See, I like
Good job,
that
Cindy.
time. Okay, but look. Okay, so you have these for the work of the ministry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work of the ministry for the service you provide. All right. But notice this. For